All right, cool. So let's start this live trading session. It is currently 11 in the morning. It is Friday. It is the last trading day of the week. So we're going to be looking for good setups. We're going to be risking obviously very small due to the fact that it is the last trading day of the week. So we're looking here at US30, which I'm currently in a buy position right now. So I do have an entry at 42,160. So 42,160 is going to be exactly at this point over here, but in my broker, it's exactly where the wick is at. So I did manage to enter a position at 42,160 and a current position at 42,230. So I will let you guys see where we're at right now. So yeah, so everything is running good so far. We're in position. We're up $350 with every trade that we're currently in right now. So you guys can check this out. Up $300 in gold, US30. Those are the two positions that I'm currently in right now. You know, here with gold, I think I might go break even. So let me just call this out back at TP1. Back at TP1, going break even now. So telling everyone to go break even here with a gold sell that we're currently in. We did hit TP2 for 40 pips. I am going to be going aggressive today with obviously moving my stop loss to break even due to the fact, again, it is the last trading day of the week. But overall, check this out, guys. We're up 390, up almost 400. We're so close. There you go. $400 in profit. Beautiful, beautiful. So we have US30, which is running very nice with both of the position. So guess what? We're giving the buy position, again, the same exact zone that we've been giving buys the whole entire week, right? So the only win that we actually had this week with US30 was the sales position here. That was the beginning of the week, which we did catch a very nice 1-to-3 risk to reward. The second day, we did attempt a buy position as soon as price session was obviously trading above the structure. We're just waiting for the break and retest, which, as you guys can see, that price session did fail to give us that move that we were anticipating. Comes the next day, we do have the same exact reaction. So we have the rejection from these major areas of demand zones, right? Rejection areas of demand zone, which is going to be set at the 42,080. We get the bounce, we get the break, we get the retest of the zones. Again, price session failed to continue pushing price even higher. So during this time, this was the FOMC, which was Wednesday. So on Friday, we kept, so look at this. We just hit take profit one. Oh, so look at this. We just hit take profit one right now with US30. So we have two positions. So we're going to call this out TP1 smash. Let's put this out. TP1 hit. All right. So TP1 just smashed with US30 for 130 points. So right now we're currently up $600 now in profit. Beautiful. We're rocking in every single trade. Actually about to hit TP2 right now with US30 as well. So let me just have that ready. TP2 smash. TP2 hit. We're going to go 100 is going to be, I believe it's going to be almost, that was a really nice entry. I'm not going to lie. Look at that. So my entry was one entry here, and then I have another entry right here. So we have two big position running. And we're about to hit right now TP3 or TP2. So it'll be 130 plus 160. So 190 points. So we have 42, 160, 130 points. And then we have 42, 230 at 60 points. And we are about to, there you go. So we're up. Yeah, we're still in profit, guys. Beautiful, beautiful trade. My goal break even here. There we go. We just hit take profit 2 for 190 points. So check this out, guys. We're currently up $650. So it's a great Friday. We're a very great start. A very great way to end the week. Moving stop loss to break even. Both entry. Keep holding. Beautiful, beautiful way. And then we have gold, which just continues dropping, which is exactly what we want. We're back at TP2. So I'm going to explain to you guys all of that breakdown in a bit. So yeah, as you guys see, we're having a great Friday. It is 11:20. We're up $600 for the day, which is very, very nice. I'm going to explain to you guys the two losses. Well, we pretty much already went over the two losses with the other two breakdowns that we did. But again, notice how earlier this session, this happened during the FOMC, right? FOMC, we come back all the way back down to these major demand zones, right? So if you guys saw the other video, we were talking about this exact demand zone, which obviously price action has been holding very strong, right? So So if we go into a higher time frame, we can see that this exact zones over here, if you guys take a look at the previous price action, you guys can see that it did maintain itself above multiple times. So for example, we had a reaction over here, price action had a reaction over here, which price action broke underneath. We try to maintain, or we try to retest these zones, but notice how price action just disrespected it, broke back above, respected it again as an area of support. Bullish here, bullish here, bullish here, bullish here. Price action had the same exact reaction yesterday. If we take a look at a deeper market structure look, you guys can also see that in the past, these zones over here continues holding the same exact form. So we have a solid foundation over here, another foundation here, and another foundation here. We did see that one point price did use the opposite side. Over here, we were using it as areas of demand. Price action did manage to break underneath, use it as one point as supply, failed to continue pushing lower, broke above, use it as demand. So we can see that these zones over here, every time that price action comes back to these zones, there is a type of reaction, right? The same thing happened yesterday or Wednesday. We came back towards these zones during the FOMC zone or the FOMC session. Price action comes back towards these zones. Yesterday it was a bank holiday, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I was looking for buy position here yesterday. Now, the only reason why I did not enter buy position here yesterday was due to the fact that one, it is news session, right? There was bank holiday, so the market was very, very slow. On top of that, I was waiting for price action to give me a proper break above the structure, break and retest above these areas of interest so that I can actually give buy and opportunities, right? So my entry confirmation would have been here. One, rejection of a major demand zone, which is set at the 41,850. Two, we have a proper switch of structure. So notice how over here we were just simply declining towards the downside, just simply creating lower lows and lower highs, right? Obviously, whenever we're looking for a buy position, we always want to make sure that price session is trading above a previous high, right? So in this case, notice the structure. We have these lows, well, we have these lower highs, we have these lows, lower highs, lower lows, and lower highs. Why will we try to take a buy position if price action is still trading underneath these lower highs, right? The idea is for price action to respect all of these lows here, which is most likely liquidity sweep all of these lows over here, and then just wait for price action to have a proper break of structure to retest that broken structure. And if it maintains above, this is exactly what price action confirms a proper switch of structure, and that's exactly where we always want to be entering a buy position. But notice how we never got the exact entry that we were looking for, the entry model that we always look for. Price action did open up later on throughout the day, which was the market reopened at 6 p.m. and we had a gap towards the upside, which price action just perfectly shot all the way towards the upside, which is something that I was looking for, but unfortunately I was not able to capture these trades. Now, taking a look over here, price action comes back towards these exact zones, which is going to be set at the 42,090, right? 42,090. If you guys take a look at the left side, obviously we did have some history between these zones. We can see at one point over here, price action did use it as an area of support, which we did see some bullish reaction from, right? This was the start from the week or the start of the month, which, as you guys can see, the price action did manage to maintain itself above these zones. Every time we come back towards these zones, there is a type of bullish reaction, meaning that buyers are holding these levels very solid, right? And that's exactly what we were taking buy position from earlier this week as well. We were waiting for price action to have a reaction here, just a break and retest, obviously under the structure, so that we can enter buys. But notice how those two buy positions that we did manage to take, they were games of probability, which obviously they both failed, right? So we had the bounce from this rejection, we had a proper break and retest, everything that we look for, but both of these buy positions over here failed. Now, check this out. If we're taking a look here on a higher time frame, we can still see that price action continues trading underneath these 4-hour structures, right? You guys can see that 4-hour. We can see at one point we were bullish, creating higher highs and higher lows, trading above all of these entire structures. And then we had a break underneath the structure, which price action, as of right now, you guys can see that we're currently still holding as areas of resistance, right? So notice how in today's session, whenever we had that push towards the upside, notice how price action, once again, we come back towards these supplies. The supply zone that price action has been rejecting the past two trading session, which is the same exact buys that we've been taking, but obviously kept failing, right? So we're trading underneath these H4 structures over here, which price action continues holding as an area of resistance, right? We did see that one point over here, price action broke underneath, we came back, we rejected it, we used it as a supply. We did see a sell-off. That's the first buy that failed. Price action comes back towards the same exact zone. We do see the same exact rejection. Price continues even dropping even harder. The idea for yesterday as well, this was a buy position that I was looking for as well. This would have been a counter trend trade buy. I forgot to mention this. This over here would have been a counter trend trade buy due to the fact that if you guys look at the overall structure, right? Notice how we were still trading underneath these entire zones over here, which is going to be set at the 42,080, which is an area of support, right? Notice how price action is just trading underneath these zones over here. This buy over here would have been an aggressive buy, but it would have given us a very good risk to reward. But as well, this would have been a counter trend trade to come back towards these exact zone over here so that price action can retest, right? If we would have retested these zones, we would have rejected and obviously would have been in the opposite direction. Because again, if you guys notice how we have these highs here from the higher time frame. We have these highs, break a structure, pull back, retested these zones, price action respected, rejected, maintained itself underneath. We use it as areas of supply, which price action is now trading underneath an area of bearish structures, right? So we have these highs, we have these lows, and then we have these lower highs, and then price action broke underneath these entire lows over here, forming a new lower low, which most likely, obviously, we're just waiting for the retest towards these zones. But obviously price action has broken above, so that is a good confirmation of a switch structure. So again, we were switching from here from a bearish market to now potentially switching to a bullish market, right? The only thing that only turns me off from this setup is, again, we're still trading underneath these H4 structure. As long as price action does have a very strong break towards the upside, then I'm definitely going to be, well, we definitely can see price action continue pushing even higher, right? But the setup for today was very simple. We do have our London highs, which is up over here, which price action came back towards the London. We respected this exact demand zone, which as you guys can see, that price action did form a solid foundation over here. We did see a very strong impulse towards the upside. We just waited for price action to come back, retest all of these London highs, which as you guys can see, that price action did perfectly respected, rejected it. And now we're just going to continue holding this position. So far, we already have hit take profit 2 with US30. We're going to continue holding. Everything does looks clean. Hopefully we do manage to break above these supplies over here. If we do see an aggressive push towards here, breaking above all of these structure, then we simply wait for another retest. If price action can maintain itself above, which most likely will be for next week, then I will be interested in adding positions above these zones over here. But as of right now, we're going to continue holding this. Everything does look solid. Yeah, everything looks solid. I'm actually going to close one position. I'm closing 42. So I'm closing this one. Check this out. I'm going to close one position. Close 42 to 30 at TP2 now. 60 points. Leave 42 160 running risk free. All right, perfect. I'm locking in one position. I'm closing this one at $160. So this is, yeah, closing this one at 160. Perfect. So we just have one position running, which is at 42 160. So we're going to leave that one running. Moving stops at break even. All right, solid. All right, that's beautiful. That is for US30. Again, we're giving this buy position again another attempt for the third time. If it does take us out of stop loss at break even, then this setup over here just continue failing. But notice how we just continue taking the same setup, same exact execution, same exact reason. Hopefully the market just continues pushing higher so that it can go in our favor. So let's take a look here at the gold market. Gold, I'm currently in shorts as of right now. I'm gonna explain to you guys pretty much. Yesterday we did have an amazing trading session. I'm gonna tell you guys that. Yesterday we had an amazing trading session with gold. We were trading the London session going into the New York session. So during the London session, we did take some sells with gold over here, which as you guys can see, played out for 240 pips, which was a 1 to 2.4 risk to reward. We then scaled in another buy position. So we kind of hedged the market. We had a sell position open, and then we had a buy position open, which as you guys can see, this one over here kind of pisses me off due to the fact that we only hit TP4, which was 80 pips, right? Our goal is always to go break even whenever it hits take profit 3. But notice once we hit take profit 4, price action comes back and wicks us out, right? Notice how it wicks us out of break even. Check this out. It wicks us out of break even and then perfectly shots towards the upside, running for a 1 to 2.7 risk to reward, which is obviously annoying because we were only able to secure over 80 pips, which was half of the position. So in this trade over here, I only made over $100. Could have made over 500 plus trade, $500 plus dollars, but price action just ended up taking us out of break even. This setup over here was up 600. I did close half of my position, so I did close $330. And then in this one over here, I made $100, so we were up like $430 for the day so far. Then we took a New York session buy position, which played out for a 1-to-1 position, which was 100 pips. This setup over here, I did made a $80, $80 to $100. So I was up like almost, I think it was like $480, $500 for the day. It was so solid, but the overall analysis on this setup over here was very simple. If you guys go into a higher time frame perspective, right? So notice how we've been trading gold above these exact H4 structure, right? Notice the entire breakdowns that I've been giving you guys the past couple of days. That obviously we were looking for buy position due to the fact that if we go into a higher time frame perspective, you guys can clearly see how on the higher time frame we just continue creating new higher highs and higher low structures, right? So we're looking at it from a daily perspective. You guys can see the point started from right over here, which was the beginning of May, which was the first low, which price action came all the way down here, grabbing liquidity from previous price action structure, which, as you guys can see, this hit a area of demand which price action respected, and this is exactly where we started having the bounce towards the upside. So it was just a simple classic, break and retest setups. Notice how we break above these areas of resistance, which price action breaks above, pulls back, forms areas of demand, showing us that buyers are still in control of the markets and just continue heading towards the upside, right? We'll go here into a weekly structure. We can also see that last week we did have a very aggressive bullish engulfing candle breaking out of these entire weekly structures, right? This entire weekly structure has been ranging for the past weeks. I would say almost 8 weeks price session has been ranging above these zones over here, just, bouncing from a high, bouncing from a low. It wasn't until last week that we actually had a break above this entire structure, which this week we're not having a bearish candle, but this bearish candle over here is coming back to retest these broken highs over here. So we go back into a 4-hour structure. You guys can clearly see that the 4-hour structure, the area, the interest that we're looking for buy position was above these zones over here, which is set at the 33.80, 33.75. Notice how last week we had a perfect push towards the upside. Now this week we just had the push towards the downside, which is just simply the retest of this entire broken structure, right? Now the only thing that kind of turned off these setups over here was just how price hasn't been ranging up and down from above the 33.80, right? So above 33.80, notice how price action just respected it. I think it's raining. Oh yeah, it is raining hard outside. So we have the resistance over here. Price action pulls back. We respect it. Notice how we form an area of demand. It was previous area of demand, which we usually had a push towards the upside. Price action comes back towards these zones. Notice how we're just ranging up and down. We have a high over here, which is set at the 33.95, which price action was as well rejecting, as well a 3400. So price action was just bouncing up and down from these zones. So we were just buying, we were just selling, which was just, trading inside the ranges, right? Now, it wasn't until the CPI day that we actually broke underneath these areas of resistance, which is going to be at the 33.80, which is the major zones, right? So we broke under the major structure from the higher time frame, and on the lower time frame, we are obviously holding these zones as levels of support. So notice how price action broke underneath. We got the pullback towards these zones. We did respect these entire zones over here, which price action started rejecting and trade underneath these areas of support. So it was a simply breakout. So price action was ranging. We break out. Right, we broke underneath, we got the pullback, we retested it, we started forming bearish action, and this is exactly where I end up taking my sell, just like this. This zone over here is exactly where I end up taking the sell position. Price respected these zones, and then we end up taking these sells. So we go back into a 30-minute time frame. You guys can clearly see how price action pulled back, retested these entire broken areas of support, came back, retested it, rejected it, and then price action started forming bearish action. So we go into a lower time frame, 15-minute time frame, look clean. We got the pullback, rejection, we got the break of structure, price action pulls back, retests this broken structure, which respected it. The only thing I was waiting for more volume in the markets, right? So we started trading the London session, which again, we did see another break of structure towards these zones, a pullback towards these zones, which price action respected it. All I did was place a sell stop underneath these previous lows, which this bearish candle over here was the one that activated. So we were no drawdown with the setup over here, and price action just went straight into profits, right? Now, if we look at the buy position that we took, the buy position was very simple, and it was actually the same exact buys that we were taking. Gold is dropping. Oh, it didn't take us out of break even. That's good. Okay, that's good. But look at US30. US30 just continues flying. That's beautiful. We're about to hit. Yeah, we just hit TP4 right now. That's beautiful. Oh, TP3, my bad. Yeah, that's fire. There we go. We're up $550. So let me call out TP3. There we go. So we only have one position open right now with US30. So take profit 3 hit. We're looking at, so take profit 3 smash for 150 points. Up. We're up good. We're up good. So like I was saying, we came back towards the zone. Originally, the areas of interest that I had marked up was at 33.50. So I had a two zone, one at 33.50, and I had another one set at the 33.45, which was a little bit more underneath these zones. So we go into a higher time for perspective. We can see that price action just perfectly pulled back towards these areas of demand. Is clearly an area of demand, which at one point over here, notice if we go back into 1 hour time frame, which looks a little bit better, notice how in the 1 hour time frame, at one point over here, where they use it as an area to support, we build a solid foundation over here that every time that price action comes back towards these zones, we are seeing type of rejection. So we had a bounce from here, another bounce place from here, another bounce place from here, and then notice how price action broke underneath. We got a pullback, use it as one point as areas of resistance, which we did see some short-term sellers. But then once again, price action broke above, came back, used it as an area of demand, which perfectly shot the market all the way back up. Now notice how this week we got the pullback towards the same exact zone. We had the same exact rejection, right? So it's a simple, retest of these areas of demand. And I usually don't trade with the trend line, but if you guys add the trend line from these points over here, with this entire bullish structure started forming, which is this point all the way to these points over here, notice how it perfectly aligns with it. Every time there is tabs, is building these higher time frame, higher lows. So for example, we have a higher low form over here, higher low form over here, higher low form over here, and a higher low form over here. So price action just simply comes back, retested these trend line, retested all of these broken structure, respects it, and then continues pushing the market even higher. Notice how it perfectly just aligns with these entire patterns. In this case over here is going to be this exact zone. Perfectly aligns with everything, right? Now that is obviously just another confirmation. I usually don't trade with the trend line, but if it does look clean, it looks clean, right? Now, the sell position that we end up taking this morning, the only thing, so I was actually going to be giving a sell attempt underneath these zones over here, which was going to be originally at 33.65, but we had a strong candle breaking above these zones over here. So obviously I was not interested in taking sells, but notice how we come back towards the supply zone right over here, which price action just continues rejecting, right? So again, we had the supply zone marked up over here. We had a break above, but notice how price action just failed to continue trading above. So we started seeing some type of rejection. All I waited for was for price action to maintain itself underneath. This is exactly where I did enter my position at the 33.70. I did end up selling sell stop 33.70, and then obviously stop loss is going to be above. All right, so I'm back. The lights just went out. Turn off the whole entire computer, but we're back with the same exact recording. So going back to gold, like I was explaining, right? So we end up taking these sales position of these areas of supply zones, right? The main idea with this trade was simply just to break and retest the same exact thing that happened yesterday, right? Broke underneath these areas of support. We broke underneath, we got the pullback, rejected it, built bearish foundation, and we end up taking the sells. Notice how yesterday market session, we broke underneath these entire zones over here. What do we have? Areas of previous demand, previous support, previous support. Price action broke underneath. The idea was just for price action to come back towards the zone, rejected the same exact way that it did over here, build some bearish foundations over here, bearish price action. So maybe something like this, rejection, do something like this, bearish break a structure, and that's exactly what we would have taken our sell position. But notice how we just had a very strong bullish candle breaking above these entire zones, right? Now notice how we came back towards these lower time frame or minor time frame supply zones over here, which price action perfectly rejected it multiple times. So we had two rejection, we broke underneath. All I did was just set a sell stop above at the 33.70, which was my areas of interest. We got active, we end up hitting take profit too. So on top of that, right as well, since the computer just turned off and everything, we just hit take profit 4 right now with US30. We end up hitting take profit 4 for 160 points. So in this position right now with US30, I did close out half, which is 157. Plus I closed out the other position at 154. So for the day so far, I'm up $310.46 with US30, leaving another $300 running. So if we do play out very nice, this one is going to hit every single one. I'm going to make a lot of money today with US30 if it does plays out nice. Gold, I'm currently at TP2 right now, so we're up $100 with this trade. So in total, as of right now, I'm up $430, as you guys can see. But the gold sell over here is very solid. The only thing that turns me off is just due to the fact that we're now trading above these areas of support. So notice how price action came back towards the zone. We rejected a few times already. Just every time that comes back towards the zone, we are seeing some bounce plays, right? So again, I do expect if price action takes me out of break even, I understand why. We have the major rejection towards the zone. We had a very strong bullish candles just breaking above every entire zones, broke above these entire areas of support. So most likely if price action just simply comes back towards these zones, we might respect it and then use it as support, and then we might see another bounce towards the upside. Now the only thing that will keep us safe with these sell position over here will be only if price action does have a break underneath these zones. If we break underneath, then that's exactly where we can potentially add a second position, which is just simply waiting for price action to pull back, reject this zone or retest this zone, potentially reject, break a structure, retest those break structures, and that's exactly where we're going to be entering our second position, right? That will be the only way that we will actually be completely safe with this trade. Now, this trade over here, it is risk-free, so if it does take us out of break-even, it is all cool. But that is pretty much the setups that we're currently in as of right now. So we have this gold sells over here, and then we have these US30 buy position, which is running deep in profit. So this one is very, very nice. We're just going to let US30 do its thing, right? Again, we're coming back towards the supply. We will only be safe, or we will continue pushing even higher, make more money if price action will simply break above these supplies. Retest the supply, use it as an areas of demand, or break above these resistance, use it as areas of support, start building bullish foundation, break a structure, and that's exactly where we're going to be entering our second position. But since it's Friday, we're not going to be aggressive with the markets. We're just going to let the market do its thing. We already have secured what we needed to secure for the day. So let's just see how the setup plays out. I'm going to hop off for a few minutes. We're going to go have breakfast, see what I got to do for the day, and I'll be back to update you guys if we do get taken out of break even with this trade or how this US30 plays out. So we'll be back later on throughout the session. All right, so guess what? We just got taken out of break even with our gold sells. I did manage to re-enter again this exact position. Right now, we're currently floating over 10 points. We're going to continue holding this. Again, I'm going to be aggressive if price action does manage to push a little bit lower. I do like the setup just again because we're seeing that there's a lot of wick rejection towards the upside, showing us that buyers are exhausted with these zones over here. We do have some nice H1 candle closures, which again we managed to maintain underneath these areas of supply. We recently just closed up underneath this last hourly candle. Notice how we just closed underneath these supply zones over here with a lot of wick rejection towards the upside, showing us that buyers are exhausted, right? Again, the only thing that turns me off from this setup over here is that we're still trading above these intraday structures, which is areas of support. Obviously, the idea will be if price action close underneath these zones, we are good to continue, selling off with gold. Now, we do have a nice 30-minute candle closure underneath the supply zone. I did manage to re-enter. Right now, we're currently floating 10 points. I'm up $30, so we're going to see if we do get an initial push towards the downside. Again, if price action managed to break underneath these lows over here, we're perfect. We're going to continue holding this trade till the next week. Now, if we do see that price action just breaks above and closes something between the 33.75, then that's exactly where I'm going to be managing my trade and just closing out with a loss. But so far, it looks good. 30 minutes looks good as well. We're just going to wait to see how the market does. Again, it is a Friday, so we might expect some slow volume. We're looking at US30. US30 had another push towards the downside. I think we're still in this position. Well, I'm currently still in this position, but we're having another retracement towards the downside, right? Now, at this point over here, this is where we need to ask ourselves a question. Hey, should we, manage to re-enter again this position if price action comes back towards these zones over here and respect it? Or should we, be aware that, again, we are still rejecting these major supply zones over here? So what is the chances of price action now starting to flip over the other direction? So obviously, if we do get taken out of break even, I'm just going to wait to see how price action reacts above these zones. If we do manage to obviously maintain itself above it, then I will manage to re-enter the same exact position. But since we are rejecting these major supply zones 3 times in a row, if price action just underneath closes something like this, then obviously these zones over here are invalidated. So we're no longer going to be taking these buy position. But let's see. I want to see if it does take us out of break even and, obviously maintain itself above. If it does, then we're good to buy the market. But just, again, turns off that it just continues rejecting off the supply zone. So let's just see what the market does. Gold is back at break even. So we are retesting these 5-minute fair value gap here. Yeah, this one looks clean, to be honest. You know what? I'm going to be adding the other position from the first entry that we have taken, which is at 42 to 30. So I'm just going to let them know. And use this stop loss. All right, so we're back in 42 to 30. Let's see how this one plays out. We have gold. Oh, gold looks like we're about to hit TP1. Oh, that was a nice push. Yes, we just hit TP1 right now with gold once again. So let me just call that out. TP1 just smashed once again. All right, so US30 is having that push. Okay, perfect. So we did manage to re-enter again the second entry at 42 to 30. Let's see. We're 10 points away from TP1, which is going to be at 30 points. So let's just have that ready. Oh, there you go. It's pushing out very nice. Oops, beautiful. All right, so in total profits as of right now, we're up $300 with $300 already secured for the day. So that's good. Let's see. We're so close to TP1. Well, already hit TP1 actually, so we're gonna call this out. Take profit one smash. Once again. Yeah, that's beautiful. And then we have, all right, so we're gonna continue holding this. But the re-entry was simply just a retest of this fair value gap here at the 5-minute time frame. So we left the fair value gap here once price action pulled back towards these zones, which we respected it. So it was very simple. So I do believe the setup can definitely play out now. Look at this. We had the pullback towards this broken structure, rejection towards these major demand, rejection towards these other structures over here, which is holding us in areas of support. Retest this broken structure. We go down here to a 5-minute time frame. We get an initial push towards the upside, which was the first impulse move. We got the pullback to retest this 5-minute fair value gaps over here. We do have a perfect bullish engulfing candle closing above these areas. Now we're just gonna let the trade do its thing. We have rejection towards the VWAP. Everything looks clean. We did just hit TP1 right now, so we're just gonna continue holding. So let's see. Gold, we're currently trading back at entry, so we're gonna have to see how gold reacts around these areas of interest. If we start breaking above, again, 33.75 is the only zone that I'll be out of the market. So let's see how this one plays out. We're still at entry. Nothing crazy has been going on with gold. But US30, we're having the initial push that we're waiting for. This setup over here, I really fuck with it so much. We do have all of these rejection, all of these confirmations. We do have these fair value gap that is respecting. So all of this looks very fucking clean. We're just going to hope to see that we do see the push that we're looking for. If this trades over here wins and the gold one loses, we'll be up in profit still for the entire day. So let's just see how this setup over here plays out. All right, cool. So we're back inside the markets. It is currently 2:40 in the afternoon. The market's about to close. I'm already done trading for the day. I just want to give you guys the update of the setup that we end up taking. So if we take a look here at the gold sells, you guys can see that we did play out very, very nice. I did actually manage to enter another entry around 33.72. Originally, entry was at 33.70. I did manage to close that out at TP1 at 20 pips, leaving 33.72 running risk-free. So as of right now, my gold position is currently up over $200. We have our US30 buy position, which just went active right now. I'm currently up $90 for that trade. But in total profit so far, I'm up $275 for the day. If this trade over here continues dropping, again, we can make a lot of money or we cannot make any money. We just get stopped at a break even. I haven't secured any profit completely yet with gold. I'm still waiting for price action to actually break underneath these zones. If we do actually break underneath these zones, definitely I do see that price action can definitely continue dropping. I have one of my TP levels over here, which is going to be set at a 1 to 2 risk to reward. That's where most likely I'm going to secure half of my position, just leaving the other one running, moving my stop loss into take profit 1 or moving into a 1-on-1 risk to reward. So if it does move up to the other side, it just takes us out at a 1-on-1 risk to reward, which is solid. Now, if we take a look here at US30, US30 had another push towards the downside. We came back towards the same exact zone. We managed to re-enter again the same exact position at 42.160. We got stopped at a break even with the other position, so we're just letting the market do its thing at this point. So gold US30 is the only position that we're running. We're up $260 for the day. Let's see how this setup plays out. So I'm calling it a day here. I'm going to be editing this video and uploading it for you guys, so you guys can go ahead and check out why we end up taking these positions for the day. That's pretty much it, guys, for this week. I'll see you guys next week on the other session that we're going to be trading. Next week as well, we're going to continue with the live trading. So obviously we're going to be doing these live breakdown. On top of that, these live trading. So I hope you guys enjoy these videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one.